back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you guys a super exciting video. I am so excited about this video, you guys. I'm going to be reviewing and giving you guys a tutorial, giving you guys my thoughts, and we'll see if I approve of this palette. This is the James Charles and Morphe collab, you guys. Let's see what the tea is. This is what the palette looks like. I did glue on the names of these shades onto my palette just because I don't really fuck with the whole like little plastic thing with the names. It doesn't really help me out. Might as well not even add the names. And I also have the brush set here for you guys today, and I'll be telling you guys my thoughts on these as well. This is a 32 piece brush set. I believe it's 32 pieces. If not, I'll put it on the screen. But this is a 32 piece brush set. It has a bunch of eye brushes, face brushes. It comes in this super cute little tub. It says Morphe times James Charles on here. I don't know if you guys can see it, and it comes with a little cap and you can put it on. I feel like this would be really good for traveling. It's supposed to have basically everything you're gonna need for a full face. It has duplicates, which I'm really like excited about. So I'll be talking about the brush set as well. I'll be letting you guys know if this is all worth your money or not. I will do a couple swatches before we jump into the video. I don't really care so much about swatches. I don't really care how they swatch as long as they work on my eyes. Sometimes something can swatch really, really good and it'll be really shitty, or sometimes something can swatch really, really bad and it'll be really, really bomb. There was also a lot of drama going around about James doing like double swatches. Then when I saw that, I was like, damn, can all these fucking beauty gurus stop fucking lying?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop fucking lying.
Like, goddamn, like I'll still buy the palette, just tell me the truth. But he went on his IG stories and he was like explaining kind of what happened. It does make sense what he was saying, and once again, to me, I don't really care about swatches. I don't care as long as they perform good on my eyes. But I'm going to be swatching the shade 518, the shade Rusted, the shade You're Kidding, which is, oh, I almost dropped the palette, holy fuck. I'm wearing a white shirt, so I really don't want to get it all over myself. I'm going to swatch the shade You're Kidding. And I think I'll also swatch one of the shimmers, the shade Artistry. That is that purple. It's not really picking up so much. It's the orange. Swatches just fine. It doesn't look patchy or anything. That's that other one shade that I forgot the name of, but it's also swatching really, 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 really good. And that's the red. I think they all swatch really bomb. They look pigmented. They don't look patchy or anything. So we'll see how they work on our eyes. Enough of me rambling. You guys will hear my final thoughts at the end anyways. If you guys would like to see how I got this look and what I think about the palette and the brushes, if it's worth your money, then just go ahead and keep on.
Performs the exact same way as its older sister, being that it lays down color and also blends it out at the same time.
Getting into this review, I'm gonna go ahead and there's a fly! Ah! Oh my god. Get her, mommies. Get her. Get her. God, this stupid bitch. Technical difficulties. I have been waiting to use this palette, you guys, for so long. I feel like my review is so late, but I literally just got the palette in last night, so I woke up really early to film with it today. It's literally 6:43. I never filmed this early, but I have the Morphe x James Charles palette right here, and it's so freaking beautiful. I love the matte black packaging. I think it's bomb. I think it just looks different, and the palette is huge. I know everyone has said this in their videos, but the palette is huge. Yes, my palette has the names on it because I literally cut out the little note like card that it came with, and I glued these shade names onto the palette because it's just going to be so helpful for me. Honestly, I hate when palettes don't have the names on it. I mean, it came with one of those little like plastic flimsy sheets with the names on it, but I kind of hate those, but that's not the end of the world as long as the palette is good. I don't really care too much. But you guys, I'm so excited to use this palette. I also have the brush set right here, and I'm going to be using these brushes. I'm so excited. Your girl really needed some new brushes, so we're going to go ahead and just dip into this. And if you guys keep up with me, you guys know I usually use some good old Tarte Shape Tape to prime my eyelids for any eyeshadow looks I do. But James did mention that it doesn't really work so well with something like that, like a concealer doesn't really work so well with that. That it works good with like the Morphe eyelid primer or something like the MAC paint pots or something like the P. Louise base. I didn't have any of those, but I did go ahead and purchase the MAC soft ochre paint pots. I'm gonna go ahead and just take one of the brushes from the brush set. This is the Morphe M441 brush, and I was going to do one side Tarte Shape Tape and one side with the eyelid primer like they suggested. But honestly, this is my first time using the palette. I don't want to have to work with two eyes at a time. I'm just going to go ahead and focus all of my attention on blending this eye and perfecting this eye over here. Just that way you guys get this is mostly going to be for my first impressions and my final thoughts, and I'll give you guys, it's kind of a review as well, but I don't want to have to do too much just because I feel like I won't be able to focus. So if you guys do want to see that video, one eye of me using the Tarte Shape Tape and one eye with me using like a primer or the MAC paint pot like they suggested, then definitely let me know and we can go ahead and do that. I'll zoom you guys in a little bit just so you guys can see a little more what's going on. I'm taking the MAC Soft Ochre paint pot and I'm going to go ahead and prime my lids. I'm just tapping this all over my lid, and I also carved out my brow using this, and I did like it. I feel like it definitely is not as creamy as a concealer, but I think that's kind of the point of using this. I think that's what makes these shadows work better. I don't love the idea of having to use something other than what you already have, but I'm not like too upset about it, or I'm not like, it's not like the end of the world. I'll just get the primer that they suggested. But I know for a lot of people aren't gonna want to go ahead. A lot of people aren't gonna want to spend money on the palette and also have to spend extra money. But if James said this is how you should use it, I'm gonna listen to him because this is his palette. So he probably knows what he's talking about. Now that I have my eyelid all primed and ready to go, you guys, I feel like this brush set, I'm really gonna get use out of it. I'm really excited to use this. I'm taking the Morphe M124 and I'm gonna take the shade Flashback. This one right over here. Oops, this one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and set in the corner. Grab one with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the shade Escape. This purple, oh my god, the fly is back. This purple right over here. Tap off a little bit of the excess. I'm gonna start packing the shade on my outer corner. And he did say that this was one of these shades that you kind of have to work a little bit more with, so I'm just hoping I don't have any issues with the palette because I've been waiting for this palette for so long. A lot of people knew that this collab was happening, and I feel like we all kind of had an idea, and I've been waiting for it for so long. I'm going to start kind of bringing it into my crease. Just like so. Just kind of start to try to diffuse the edges a little bit. James did say that you kind of, these shadows are better when you pack them on. Don't just go in and like with a blending brush, like a fluffy blending brush, and just try to blend it right away. I usually pack my colors on anyway, so I don't really mind that so much. Or I don't mind that at all. I'll pack on a little bit more. It's not giving me any issues so far. Let's see how it works when I blend it out. I'm kind of scared to blend it out, you guys. Just I don't want to have any issues. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the red shade. And the red shade was one that I was really excited about. I feel like they all come off pink. They're all, like, all the reds I've tried have never been, like, true reds. I'm going to take the shade You're Kidding, which is, like I said, the red shade. And I'm picking it up on a Morphe M441 brush. Tapping off a little bit of that excess. I'm gonna go in and try to kind of fluff this over the top. I'm gonna try to kind of pack it on a little bit first and then kind of try to blend it out. Since he said to pack it on, I'm like so scared to like actually go in and blend. As I'm blending though, the purple is losing a little bit of color. I'm trying to drag this out a little bit. The red is working out fine. The purple, like I said, is losing a little bit of color. It's looking a little bit patchy, but I'm gonna pack it back on and that'll probably fix that. Back in with the shade Escape. Packing it on my outer corner once again, just to kind of get rid of all of the patchiness. It's not looking crazy or anything. It's working out pretty nice so far. Well, I think we're gonna leave it alone for right now. So far, I think it's looking pretty nice. I think they're blending pretty nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and take a clean M441 brush. This is another one. And this brush set, I do really love that it has duplicates because this is definitely like an artist brush set, a brush set for artists, because you don't have to go back and wash your brushes. Because sometimes, like, I have my favorite brushes and when I dip into one color, I can't really use it again. I have to go wash it and then use it again, and it's just too much of a hassle, so I love that I have duplicates. I'm gonna dip into the shade 518, which is this orange shade right over here. I'm gonna use this to kind of blend out that red a little bit more. Ooh, that one picks up right away, like right away. I'm trying once again to kind of pack it on first, lightly pack it on. And then I'll try to diffuse the edges a little bit. Dang, I really like this shade. The 518 shade is so pretty. It's so beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of try to diffuse those edges. Just a tiny bit. Dude, I really like these colors. Like, yes. I've been waiting for a colorful palette for a while now, you guys. I have my Morphe 35B, but I feel like mine was kind of old, that it wasn't like performing the same. Yeah, I really like that one. That one blended out like really, really nicely. Using the same brush, I'm gonna take the shade B, which is that yellow shade in the palette. I believe this is also a pressed pigment, so I'm gonna go ahead. Same thing, kind of just tap it on first. And then I'll focus on my blending. Guys, I really love all of these shades so much. Going back in with the shade You're Kidding and that M441 brush. And I'm gonna try to kind of incorporate more of that red into the look and kind of smoke that red out a little bit. That looks pretty good to me. I do think I need to blend out the purple a little bit more, so I am going back in with that M456 brush and picking up a little bit more of that purple, just like literally the tiniest bit, you guys. And I'm gonna try to kind of focus on blending that a little bit. This shade is a little bit tricky, but either way, when I cut my crease, it doesn't really matter so much, but you do have to work with this one a little bit more. I haven't had any like crazy issues or anything. I wonder if I would have used a Tarte Shade if I would have had issues. Now I'm scared. Do I not use a Tarte Shape Tape to cut my crease? I don't think I'm going to risk it. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my crease, but I don't know if I should go in with one of these shimmers or if I should go in with a matte. I think I'm going to cut my crease. Then I will go in with the shade Hello and a little bit of the shade Playground. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I am taking my MAC paint pot in the shade Soft Ochre once again, and I'm going to cut my crease using this. Just because he kind of said to not use Tarte Shape Tape, so I'm just going to follow the instructions as best as I can because I just really love this look already that I don't want to fuck it up. Taking the M441 brush, and I'm taking the shade, I think I'm going to take the shade Playground and pick this up, this shade right here. I'm going to use this to kind of blend out that edge where the concealer, or the paint pot and the purple meet. I'm picking a little bit on there and using this to make sure there's no harsh edge. I'm going to take a 124 brush, and I'm picking up the shade Hello, which is just that like baby blue shimmer shade. I'm going to blend out that base a little bit, make sure there's no creasing, and I will go in and kind of pack this shade on. Ooh. Honestly, I don't want to say like this is biased or anything, but after watching, because I did watch other people's reviews beforehand, and I watched James' video to make sure I was prepared and I kind of knew what to do and what to avoid. I saw a lot of negative ones, so I don't want to say this was biased, but I was kind of thinking, like, I don't know, I just for some reason felt like I don't know if I'm gonna have issues with it. I was hoping I didn't, and I haven't really had any issues with it. You guys can see that, and I'm really loving this. I'm freaking loving this so much. In that same M441 brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade Social Blade, and it's just this green matte shade right over here. I'm going to apply this right here and kind of blend it in there a little bit. I'm trying to use as many colors as I possibly can, even on that purple a little bit more, because I don't want to lose that shade. And I'm trying my best to kind of blend the colors together, and I think they're blending out pretty nice. As I'm blending out the green though, I am kind of losing some of that shimmer shade for some reason. They're not like blending together nicely, but I'll just pack some more on. And that kind of seems to fix that. This is basically the look, you guys. I'll send you guys in. I think it looks beautiful. I think the colors blended beautiful. One thing I have to say is, I said it a little bit earlier, but right here it's like losing that shimmer shade as I blend that green in. But I think everything else looks so beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye off camera, probably do my base makeup, and I'll come back and we can kind of discuss the rest, like my thoughts on this, and we'll also finish off the rest of the eye look. I was going to do my base makeup on camera just so I can try out the brushes, like the face brushes with you guys, but I know they're going to be good. I do really love Morphe brushes. I've used their brushes and I love them. This also does come with the Morphe Sponge, which I'm really excited to use right now. I'll tell you guys my thoughts on the brushes as well when I come back, but I did kind of want to focus this more on the palette. So my face makeup is all done, and I'm going to zoom you guys in so we can finish off the eye look together. I just need to do my lower lash and we're basically done. But you guys, I'm pretty much obsessed with this palette. I'm like living for it. I knew I wasn't gonna hate it, but I didn't know how much I was really gonna like it. But I've really been needing a colorful palette so badly. For my lower lash, I really wanted to incorporate, I feel like the red kind of got lost a little bit. You can still see on the edge, but I want to take the shade You're Kidding, which is that red shadow. I am going to add this down here on my outer corner. tap it on there and then connect it. Wow, you guys, I'm shook. Holy shit. And this is the finished look, you guys. This is the completed look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now let's talk about the tea. Basically, my final thoughts on the palette is I really do love it, you guys. I wasn't expecting to hate it, but I also had heard like a lot of controversy and a lot of bad stuff that I was just like, oh, I don't know. There's like, I obviously love the palette. Everything about the palette is just freaking bomb, but there is a couple pointers that I do want to point out. For example, I do feel like this is definitely like a palette for an artist. I believe James has kind of touched on that, but yeah, this is definitely like if you're a beginner. I'm not saying like if you're a beginner or you don't know much about makeup you can't use the palette. It's a beautiful palette. If you are looking for a colorful palette, then this is definitely the palette for you. But that being said, I didn't touch a lot on the whole like pressed pigment situation, like, oh, like
the blues are just hard to formulate and purples are just hard to formulate.
Because I don't know shit about that. I feel like a lot of people just say it and they don't even know what they're talking about. But also a lot of people do know what they're talking about. I'm not like calling anybody out or anything, but I personally didn't touch on that because I don't know much about that. I do know a little bit more now because I have been doing a little bit of research and I've been watching a lot of people's videos that touch on that. And some of the mattes are pressed pigments. For example, the You're Kidding shade, Escape, and I believe Brothers are pressed pigment as well. I believe Skip is as well. But pressed pigments are different, I guess. You have to call them pressed pigments because they're not FDA approved. Like on the box it literally says pressed pigment and it has like they're not eye safe. You're basically not supposed to use this anywhere near your eye area. Kind of makes you think like, what the fuck, then why is it in an eyeshadow palette? Because I guess they're not FDA approved because FDA is just slow, and I guess because of some of the dyes that they use in some of these pressed pigments, they're just not FDA approved. But I guess they're not going to make you go blind, they're not going to burn your eyes or anything. But I also watched someone else's video and they were talking about how basically like you could have a reaction to it. It's if you have really sensitive eyes, I guess you could have some sort of reaction to it. Like there was this girl on Twitter basically talking about how it gave her hives and la la la. The only reason I'm touching on the whole pressed pigment situation or whatever just a little bit is because, like I said, I don't feel like if you are a beginner in makeup or if you're like just barely learning makeup, don't know much about makeup, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get the palette or that you can't. Of course you can, and I'm sure that you can create beautiful looks with it, but I would say do your research a little bit first. You kind of have to find what techniques to use with some of the shadows. For example, when James had said that you kind of have to like stamp them on to get the pigment on there first and then sort of blend it out, I didn't really have an issue with it because I already kind of do that with my shadows. I already kind of do that. Especially with all my colored looks, I always just stamp it on there. I just feel like it's the best technique and I love the way it works. I also don't really love the fact that they said that you can't really use your concealer as a primer, that you have to use like a legit primer, just because I know not everybody wants to go spend extra money when you're already spending money on the palette and the brushes if you do end up getting them. But it is James's palette and I'm pretty sure he knows what he's talking about, and a lot of the negative reviews or like negative like tutorials or videos that I watched that people kind of had a little bit of a bad experience with some of the shadows, they weren't like really following directions. Like, not, I hate saying following directions, they were using like Tarte Shape Tape concealer. They weren't using a primer as they were told, even though the MAC Paint Pot is not really a primer, it's like a cream shadow. If you guys do want the video of me comparing how the shadows work on some Tarte Shape Tape and on the MAC Paint Pot, then definitely let me know. I could do another look for you guys and we could see what all of that situation is about. Also, the shimmers, I'm not living for them. Usually shimmers are like super buttery and like those are the ones that are like the super pigmented ones, the ones that will like just like pop in your face. It's usually the mattes that are kind of like I'm iffy about, but I think the mattes were amazing and the shimmers are also pretty good, but once again they weren't like crazy, like out of this world, but there is some shades like the shade Artistry, this purple right here, where he said that you kind of, it was meant to go on top of a black base, but once again, another like direction, like I don't know, I just don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. Basically what I'm trying to say is this palette definitely gets my stamp of approval. I freaking love it. And touching a little bit on the brushes, I also think that the brush set is bomb. The one brush I didn't really love that much is the E48, but it's okay. I mean, it's a powder brush, nothing too crazy, but the eye brushes I loved, the bronzer brush I loved, the highlight brush I loved. Pretty much all the brushes I do really like. I don't think this is a necessity. Like if you're thinking about getting either the palette or the brushes, I would say just get the palette. But if you're looking for a good brush set, then I would definitely get it. I think it's amazing. This is definitely a brush set for an artist. Having the duplicates was seriously so freaking helpful. Another thing I'm not really like living for, like I'm not like to die for, is the Morphe Sponge. And I really had a lot of high hopes for this, but it's just like, it's too hard for me. Like I felt like I was punching myself in the face. Like my beauty blender is literally so freaking soft. The one thing I did really like about the sponge though is I can tell it does not pick up like any product. The product stays on your face. The brushes and the palette though definitely have my stamp of approval. I'm fucking living for this collection. I was waiting for this palette for so long. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy it. Leave me a comment down below what you guys think of the palette, if you guys got it, if you guys already have it, and if you guys like it. Also, comment down below if there's anything else you guys would like me to review or try out on my channel. That subscribe button down below if you guys have not already. It really helps me out, and make sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my future videos. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.